Hello again. It is the politician with the best hair in the business. And I am happy to be coming at you again with another Prosperity Jones sports politics talk show. It has been a very busy week, but I am happy to be sitting here with the family, able to do another show. And yes, some of you will say I should be fixing something in my district where we have some very downtrodden individuals, but it's good for politicians to take a break too. And so I am happy to be here. And again, this week's episode is brought to you by Prosperity for All, written by this young man, Tracy Branch. Please go to Amazon and or Audible and pick this thing up. It's going to be a pivotal reading tool when I am elected president of these United States in 2024. And me and my luxurious hair will make sure that we sell a couple copies for that young man. He seems to sometimes be a little bit disillusioned, but we're working on it. And so I don't have a ton of time this evening, and I want to touch on a few things and wrap up the sports and preview what great fun we have upcoming. And I want to start because I hear and have been hearing a lot of the constituency talking about the situation going on with the city council or officials in California. And I wanted to touch on tonight, based off that, the principles of democracy. Now, I'm sure some of you have heard what those people have said on those recordings, and we all say things in the heat of the moment. And so, Brother Jones is not quick to condemn our brothers and sisters of color. Now, they may have said, now I know they may have said, now I know they may have said and done vile things as they sat in those political positions, and now everyone is in an uproar. But we don't have any proof of that. It is important to give people the benefit of the doubt. You are innocent in this great democracy of ours until you are proven guilty. And so I want to show a little grace for my fellow politicians in California as they clear their names of these spurious charges. And I want to remind everyone that this is a democracy that stands on free speech. I say again, this is a country that stands on free speech, and we will not have brothers and sisters from the Latino community silenced, because I do believe, and as your next president in 2024, we need to let people know that in these United States, you can be you. And that's what Jones is all about. You being you. And so, to my brothers and sisters dealing with those recordings that have come out in California and supposedly, allegedly denigrating the Black community, I want us to pause on rushing to judgment. Because the Lord says, he who cast the first stone lives in a glass house. Speaking of glass stones and houses, our brother Brett Favre has finally come out, and I spoke to this last week. I want to reiterate what I said, and I back my brother Brett in clearing his name. He is nothing more than a philanthropist. Now I know what you're gonna say. I know man's worth 100 million. Why did he steal that money from one of the poorest states in the country? And the answer is he didn't. Brother Brett came out and blamed the culprit we all knew was responsible. I'll give you one guess at it. The media. And that's why, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, that this show is so important, because it allows the politicians to take back the power that the media has tried to steal. The narrative is not always what it seems to be. Brother Brett, you think Brother Brett worth damn near 100 million is going to steal 5 million to build facilities at his alma mater just to make himself look good in the media because of all the things that he had done in his career to make himself look better, to spin that narrative? You're being bamboozled. You're being run amok, led astray. I agree with Brother Brett, and I stand with him as he clears his name, and he has said the media is smearing his name. Now, those of you who have known Brother Jones, I was not always Brother Jones. See, I done a little backsliding, and I done a little gambling, and I done a little drinking. And so my brother Brett, in his darkest moments, I will not abandon him, because in this great country, again, the democracy we all love, you are innocent until proven guilty. I am here to support my brother. I was in that volleyball facility as I made my campaign rounds, and it was an amazing facility. And our brother Brett has done fantastic philanthropic work. Now, I know some of you are going to say this man has lied throughout his entire career. And some of you are going to bring up all the black athletes who have been run through the mud, Plaxico Verse, Mike Vick, and the countless others who have been tarnished. But that ain't Brett. Brett is a kind-hearted man who only knew his only crime was knowing what to do with the state's money better than the state. And that is the problem, and why we need to vote Jones in 2024, because the state needs to be better at allocating funds. This isn't on Brett. This is on the state of Mississippi. And if once I'm elected, those problems will cease to exist. Vote Jones 2024. I was on the campaign trail, and I came across a woman, and she said, Brother Jones, I'm going to email you because I would like to get your opinion on a very troubling topic. And I'm going to just paraphrase her email, and it goes a little something like this. She says, Brother Jones, I recently got married, and I love my husband to death. And I commend that individual for loving their spouse. There's nothing more beautiful. When I got married to my second assistant, the love we shared, it just reminds me of the butterflies and the beauty hearing this woman articulate her love for her husband. And she goes on to say, I love my husband, But the problem is, in this marriage, he is a Biden supporter. And right then and there, I knew where it was going. She continued to articulate she was tired of Biden's lies and false campaign promises and, and educational promises and the refusal to do things about terrorist groups like BLM. And of course, she mentioned his hair was not nearly as crisp as yours. And when I read that last piece of the email, I knew that this woman had a good head on her shoulders. And she signs the email loyal supporter. And so Miss Email, Miss Mary, I am looking forward to receiving your vote in 2024. And I will give you some very pertinent relationship advice now. Our current president does not take his job as seriously as he should. Look at me. Does it look like I don't take and I wouldn't take this job seriously? Our American political system has become political theater. This is not Shakespeare. We are beholden to the American people, and we need to be doing the job for them. And we have not had a president in a very long time that has addressed the needs of the people. And as I'm switching from the politics to the sports, I will go ahead and give you a little preview of one of my mini campaign goals that will be achieved come 2024. There will not be another bad primetime football game on television under Prosperity Jones' watch. Do you hear what I said? There will not be another bad football game on prime time television under Prosperity Jones' watch. And you could bank on that. Come 2024, we want to see good football organizations play on national television in the prime time spots. NFL, I'm calling you to task. And I need all of my supporters to back me. And we'll get into that a little later. As we continue to address the politics of the situation, I had a young man approach me at my office, and he said, "Brother Jones, I got a friend, a black man, and he's racist." And I wanted to touch on this tonight because I feel it's vital. "Brother Jones, I got a black friend and he's a racist." And I said, "Son, what makes him a racist?" And he said, "Brother Jones, he doesn't like white folks." And it brought me to a conversation about black people being racist. And I'm often brought back to the turmoil that I constantly hear black voters talk about their struggles. But I need to remind them to the first point of today's program. This democracy doesn't owe you, you owe it. And so I know, it's Jim Crow, it's Black Crows, it's sharecropping, it's I know the litany, but we have progressed. We are past all that now. We will move forward together under the tutelage and leadership of Brother Prosperity Jones. And there ain't no other way to go about it. And so I told that young brother, because the leader I am, I asked him immediately to bring his friend to the office. And that meeting is set to take place next week. I am looking forward to meeting with that young man and getting his mind right about the wonderful relationship and the colorful coalition of individuals that this great country has to offer. And I mean that, ladies and gentlemen. I mean that we will come together unified despite our differences, and that is a promise. And I can promise you also that my Black brothers and sisters will lead the charge in unifying the country the way I know it needs to be. Now, I know you're going to say, I hear tangibles and you want your reparations. And I can tell you this: if you go with Jones, you'll never be alone. I'm going to tell you that again. I know what you want: your tangibles and your promises and your health care and your education. But I will promise, if you go with Jones, you'll never be alone. And so I am looking forward to 2024, where we will change the landscape once again of our wonderful country. Let me get into what I like to call the sports segment. And please, I need not forget, again, please, they tell me, Brother Jones, you have to remind the people to like and subscribe. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. I know I try to get on consistently, but it is a hellacious campaign, and I am extremely busy uh, um, doing the work of not only the Lord but for our beautiful Americans. And so forgive me. I will try to make it on Wednesdays. Um, before the All Done podcast on Instagram Live. Please check them young brothers out. They are ambitious in their thoughts, but in this democracy, we welcome everyone. Please go check out the brothers of the All Done podcast. They are very talented young men. Moving forward to our Week 5 recap, the Giants may be legit, and it pains me because I have a friend, and he's been a Giants fan, and this is a Prosperity Jones guilty pleasure. It does not make me happier to do anything else than to see them lose and the angst and anguish that comes to him. But alas, I have been denied the pleasure of seeing him suffer. And so I must give credit where credit is due. Maybe the Giants of New York are a formidable opponent. In the bigger picture, as we wrap up what they did to the Packers at our overseas brethren's home of London in an upset, I don't think that division in general is formidable. And so they can win all the games they would like. It is simply, to me, a formality for a first round exit. And so I look forward to seeing him crumble, friendly, of course, at the time they take their demise. But in this moment, I shall heap praise upon brother brother Jones, Daniel, that is, and the wonderful job that Dayball has done. It has been impressive to this point. And I have nothing but nice things to say for the moment. Brother Matt Rule is fired in Carolina. And yeah, I know. I got a lot of brothers on the campaign trail. They talk to me often. Brother Jones, how does that man even get that job? Who is Matthew Rule? How does he even get that position? And I must hold my tongue as I get these inquiries and say, we all need a little opportunity sometime. And Matt Rule, I want to talk to you directly, young man. This time didn't work out, but the next time may be great. And so I want you to keep on fighting the good fight. The Carolina organization is done. The Baker saga has annoyed us all to no end. And it will be a sad day as we watch them to continue to play bad football. But what I will say as a sneak peek, um, the Panthers and the Rams may need to be a game to watch because, as we know, new coaches bring new energies. And so while the Rams are struggling to run the football and that offense looks lackluster, the Panthers will be coming into a football game looking under new leadership to right the wrongs. And as your next president come 2024, there's nothing going to be better than that inauguration. And as we get to work day one with getting bad football primetime games removed, there will be nothing better than the energy that brings. And so the Rams Panthers this weekend is looking to be a very interesting developing football situation. That brother Jones and his gambling situation we'll have a close eye on as the week comes to a close here. The New England Patriots, I know you wanted to all count them out. They blanked the Detroit Lions, who I don't know if many thought were great, but it was enough to say they'll get at least 1 point, right? Lo and behold, they are blanked by Billa, the legend. And it is a sad day for the Detroit fans who once again are hoodwinked into thinking they had an opportunity to do something this year. But the Patriots, ladies and gentlemen, are not out of this race. Dolphins fall. Bills are the Bills, but the Patriots are wide open. Are wide open. You cannot underestimate Bill Belichick's one of my favorite people in the league because of his leadership. And that's what you're going to get with Brother Jones. You can give me third rate and fourth rate Congress and Senate, and I'm going to get the job done for the people. And that's what Bill does with the eighth string quarterback that will be undoubtedly under center as we draw this week to an end. The Steelers are another very interesting situation. Brother Mike, who I adore as well as a leader in our league, and I enjoy his mannerisms on the sideline from Sunday to Sunday, reminds me of my coaching stint in our Deacon Church League as I was a ferocious leader and motivator, and Mike, even with those wonderful abilities and qualities, does not seem to be able to get this lackluster roster over the hill. With that being said, the other teams in that division aren't necessarily making it a foregone conclusion that Mike can't turn it around. And so we have big games coming up in week 6, one being that Giants-Ravens game, as they both look to make huge statements and get things back on track. I am enamored by this game for the implications it will have on standings and bragging rights as we move past the quarter way of the season. The Bengals also looking to get back on track against the Saints. It should not be the tallest of tasks, but they have struggled plentifully this year. And so that division, while picked the Ravens initially, and they are still my pick. It is a division with Deshaun Watson's return looming. My Chargers took care of business. With Deshaun Watson's return looming, that could pose a sort of threat as we come into the thick of the season here. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what today's episode of Prosperity's Sports Politics Talk Show has for you. I am heavy on the campaign trail. Do me the favor, like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Go to Amazon and Audible and pick you up a copy of this work by a young man who, again, is a bit ambitious, but I believe his heart is in the right place. And I am proud of his strides, and maybe if he, can learn to control his temperament, maybe I can have him on the Vote Jones 2024 campaign. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to build America back while making America great again. I will see you beautiful people next week. Vote Jones 2024.